Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Veda and this is A Simple Budget. Here on my channel I show you how my family is using the zero-based budgeting method in order to maintain a simplified financial life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and join our little crew here. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Well, hello everyone and happy bonus content Wednesday. I mentioned to you guys in Monday's cash stuffing that today's video is going to be our escrow and tax refund checks. We got $2,000 even back between the two of those things. Sorry, there's like lots of activity going on in my house right now because I am filming while everybody is home. Okay, I decided to put a pause on that because it was like so much happening at one time while I was like trying to get my little intro out there. So anyways, yeah, so we got $2,000 back even between, taxes and escrow. And so what we decided to do was to just wait for escrow, because we've had our taxes for a little bit now. We waited for escrow to come in before we did the stuffing for both of them. And so that was the plan here. When we were paying off our debt, our primary focus with any kind of refund or unexpected money was to put a good chunk of it toward our debt, but that we also would kind of look at our budget and kind of assess the totality of everything to kind of figure out where else may need a little bit of money here or there. And that was sort of what we did this time around. Even though we're not paying down debt anymore, we're saving up for our emergency fund. We decided to forego putting any money toward our emergency fund because since we're throwing all of our extra money toward that, some other areas of our budget have been, I don't want to say neglected, but just there's not as much money there as we would like for there to be if we were fully funding our budget to max capacity, in order to just kind of live out day to day. Those things are going to be changes that we do implement once we get our emergency fund fully funded. Our budget will change ever so slightly to accommodate for where we feel like there are needs in our budget. But right now we are operating in a way that is functional for us. We're still going on vacation. We still have fun things planned for our family. We're still able to go out on dates and, just do little things here and there that are enjoyable so that we don't feel like we're just kind of plugging forward with our heads down and doing nothing else but, focusing on this one thing. So anyways, with all of that said, I will get into it because we don't have that many envelopes that we're stuffing this money in. And I can kind of explain to you our thought process as I move through each of these envelopes. So first up, I'm just going to go into, actually, am I even stuffing anything in high priority? No, the answer is no. So I will start in low priority and we'll kind of go from there. And I will be able to explain to you guys everything. So first up here, I'm just going to go back. Oh, wait. Oh, this is holiday. I'm like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Gifts shouldn't be in low priority. Low priority. Goodness. Okay, so first up is actually dine out. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for any amount of time, you know that we don't really eat out on a regular basis. We hardly ever eat out. Our grocery bill is enough to sustain us from every meal from the house, and we don't make dining out a priority. However, we do have a couple fun things planned for the summertime for our family that includes some dining out. And so we decided to take some of the escrow and tax money and divert it toward this. So I'm going to be stuffing $185 in here. It would have been a full $200. So I'm not stuffing the full $2,000 today. I'm actually stuffing $1,935. And that was actually to make up for some deficits. So we had like a slight deficit dine out, and then we had a slight deficit in school things that made us stuff a little bit less than the full $2,000. But we're still filling these categories up in a way that makes us very, very happy. So dine out is getting 185. So 150, 70, 85. And like I said, this is to just kind of help supplement family fun. We do have a couple of things planned over on the Dallas side in the summertime. We're over on the Fort Worth side, and everybody lumps them together, Dallas, Fort Worth, but they're actually really far away from each other. I mean, really far away from each other. It takes us about an hour to get into Dallas from Fort Worth. And we have some Dallas side of town things planned. And so there'll be like whole day activities. And so we really wanted to fill up our dine out and family fun budgets to accommodate those things. And I'll also be supplementing them throughout the summer as well, but just to get us started sort of like on the right foot toward making sure that we have enough money in these categories. This is why we kind of decided to do what we did. So now in dine out, we've got 100, 50, 70, 90, 200, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And like I said, we will still supplement this, but this gets us to a point where, we're starting off really well with this money sitting in here. Next up, we're going to go back to not home decor or dates. Before anybody gets like testy, like why is he getting money and you're not getting money? Mr. Simple has been saving up for some weights, and I actually benefit from that as well. So even though he is using his personal spending money towards something that benefits both of us, he is the primary user of the weights in our garage. He's got like a whole gym set up in there, and he wanted some dumbbells that like you can change the weight on each of the dumbbells depending on which kind of exercise you're doing. And so when we were looking at, what we wanted to spend our escrow and tax money on, I recommended that we put a little bit of extra money toward this so that he can get the weights faster, because like I said, I will also benefit from them. He uses the garage and the weights much more regularly than I do. But it's still something that I benefit from. And I was very happy to say, hey, let's take a little bit of this money and throw it toward that. So that's what we decided to do. It's going in his spending because he's primarily paying for the weights himself with his spending money, but we're stuffing the 100 in here just to kind of earmark it for that as well. So now in his spending, he's got 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 400, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. So 423. And weights are expensive. I don't know if you guys know that, but they are very pricey. So this isn't even enough to pay for the weights, but we're close. Next up, we're going to dip back to family fun. Family fun is getting $250. And again, this is just to kind of help us start off the summer on the right foot so that we have enough money for all of the activities that we want to do. We are doing one small family vacation around the 4th of July-ish. But apart from that, it's just lots of like daytime activities. And so this will kind of help get us to the point where we don't really need to supplement these categories very much with like my side income. I make an income from Etsy and YouTube. So this will make it so that the pressure isn't there for us to have to come up with extra money to be able to do these things. And this kind of starts us off with the money that we need for these categories. So now in family fun, we've got 100, 200, 50, 70, 90, 310, 315, 16, 17, 18, and 319. So that is wonderful. House project is actually benefiting from this. So one of the things that we didn't include on our house project list that we needed to include on our house project list was a new mattress and pillows for my son. I think we bought the mattress and pillows years and years and years ago, actually before I even had him, really, because we had a spare room in the first house we ever owned, and I just wanted to kind of set it up as a little guest room because that was the time in our lives where we lived closer to family, and especially my sister visited us a lot, and I just wanted to make sure we had a bed for her, but we did not spend a lot on a mattress, and the thing is old, and he just needs a new mattress. And so we decided to take a good chunk of this money to put this toward it. And so I'm going to be stuffing $500 today in our house project fund. 2, 3, 4, 5. We usually keep this money, if we have met the threshold of $250, we usually just take this money right to the bank and put it and have it sit in our high yield savings account until we're ready to use it. However, I'm going to be doing a bill condensing at the end of this month. And so I was like, you know what, it will really help me to have all of these big bills already ready and waiting to go in here so that when I do the bill condensing and we take the money back to the bank, I will have all of the denominations that I need to slim out these envelopes a little bit. So, and that's going to do it for low priority sinking funds for this. And then I am going into holiday sinking funds. Gifts is not getting anything, nor is Partey. Oops, what did I? Oh, Valentine's Day. No, okay, there we go. It took me a second there because I was like, no little holidays either. Vacation is getting $450 from this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We were able to start putting money toward vacation every single month this year. This was the first year that we were able to do that because Mr. Simple got a raise. And so we've been very, very happy that we've been able to fund our vacations properly and we're not having to search for money here and there, because we probably would have used this escrow and tax money just for vacation in order to make sure that we had the money sitting there so we could go somewhere this year. But we still are not funding our vacation category in the way that we would like to. And so we wanted to make sure that we were supplementing this as well so that we could, pay for our our second vacation this year. The first one, we went to a family wedding and it was just sort of like a long weekend. But our second one, like I said, is also going to be like sort of like a family long weekend. And we wanted to make sure that we had the money there, pay for that cash, and we don't have to, worry about where's the money coming from. Now we were able to supplement it. And we will still be funding vacation with the monthly allocation that it gets anyway for the rest of the year. So we will finally be in a way where we can just fund vacation monthly and we don't have to worry about pulling the money from anywhere. But in this first year, where this is the first year we've been able to fund it this way, you still kind of have to tuck some extra money in there whenever you get extra money, wherever you find it in fun and random places. And this is one of those ways that we were able to do that. So now in vacation, I don't actually know how much we have in the bank right now because we did spend some from the family wedding that we went to. But at least in the envelope, I can tell you what I have now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, 70, 90, 500, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 509 plus whatever we already have in the bank. And that means that, our vacation will be funded with cash as well as we approach that, which is exciting. If I can tell you guys anything, it's just stick to the plan. It really does work. You have to discipline yourself. You have to sort of put up blinders sometimes so that you can ignore all of the temptation around you. Because there's a lot of things that will tempt you to divert from your plan. But if you keep going, you keep pressing forward, it really does all work out. I know that there's a lot of criticism of Dave Ramsey, especially in the budgeting community anymore, because people are like, he's out of touch with reality. He's got a boomer mentality, and his mentality comes from, the time of life that the time of life that he had. The world was a different place then, and the world was a different place when he paid off all of his debt and got himself out of his bankruptcy and all of that sort of stuff. But if you just sort of follow the principle of what his message is, it's not outdated. You can get mired down into the details of like, is his $1,000 emergency fund recommendation before you start paying off debt outdated, or should you save $2,000, or should you save 3 months, or whatever? You can get caught up in the debate of those details, but really, if you just apply the principle behind his message, you will be successful. So just kind of tailor some of your expectations, or tailor some of what you do according to your own situation. But he is still a wealth of knowledge and wisdom as far as like finances are concerned. And I would not throw the baby out with the bathwater, which is what people sort of tend to do when it comes to his guidance. They're like, oh, he's outdated. His message or his numbers are outdated, and so don't listen to him. But really, there's a lot of good core financial wisdom that he brings to the table, and I think it would be beneficial for most people to listen to him, actually. And to also remember that he cannot have a nuanced approach because everybody's situation is so different. It's better for him to just kind of have a straight and narrow message that people can kind of, if you have the maturity and the discipline, you can tailor it to your experience, your own personal circumstances. But again, applying those basic principles that he lays out in his 7 baby steps. I just think it's foolish to ignore what he says based off of the fact that you may think that some of his ideology is a little outdated. So just a little bit of advice from me to you. Again, you're going to do what you're going to do, but if you stick to the basic principles that he lays out, you will be successful. There's just no second guessing that. So anyways, off of soapbox, moving on to school things. School things is getting $300 because we depleted this thing like crazy just toward the end of the school year. And I want to go into the summer not having to scrape together all of the money that we need for next school year. Plus, there are going to be some changes with our kids' schooling and stuff. And so we have different needs for next school year that we have to start saving up for. So we just wanted to get this thing set and off on a good foot, sort of similar to our dine out and family fun categories as well. So that was that. I think we're done. We're done in holiday. Yeah, we're done in holiday. And last up actually is just business thinking funds. I just took a peek at my cheat sheet over here. Last up is business thinking funds. I kind of negotiated for $150 in my materials envelope. This is just going to kind of help to facilitate the development of my budget planner. And so that was why I wanted to be able to use some of the tax money for business expenses, because whether I go with a company to print this or I go a different route as far as my budget planner is concerned, I am going to need some front money for that. And so that's why I wanted a little bit of extra cash in my materials envelope for my business expenses. And my Etsy shop is always linked below if you guys are interested. I custom make envelopes and cash inserts and placeholders and just a lot of budgeting goodies. But yeah, that is going to do it for me for today's video. It was sort of short and sweet, but that's just sort of the nature of the beast when you're stuffing like a high dollar amount, but big chunks of it are going to just a few categories. But yeah, that's going to do it. That's it for me for today. If you guys did enjoy today's video, I would love it so much if you would give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And I will be back here with you guys again on Friday with a weekly check-in. That is the bread and butter of budgeting, making sure that you are tracking expenses and reconciling your purchases and holding your spending accountable. It's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So they're always fun videos too, because I'm a little bit more chatty and it's just like fun to see what people spend their money on, I think, on a weekly basis. So that's what we will be back here on Friday to do. So until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and I will see you on Friday. Bye everyone.